The level at which these two super players are performing is simply astounding. So both Ding Liren and Gukesh Dommaraju perform with, if you use the evaluation gauge on leechess.org, it will give you a 100% accuracy. So this is just simply beyond human, so to speak, although very much human. It's absolutely unbelievable. And if you use the software provided by chess.com platform, you will see 98.8. I mean, hey, you can't get better than this. Let's look at game number 4, which ended up in a draw. But I just loved it. It happened today, by the way, 29th of November. So let's go with the Reti Opening. Ding Liren, the current world chess champion, with the whites. Gukesh Dommaraju playing for India, of course, with the black pieces. What a game. And what a perfect game. Okay, e3. You may say, yeah, well, Reti, not very ambitious. But hey, wait a minute. Knight f6 developing. Okay, b3. b3 here for white means that the bishop could go potentially both b2 or a3. So that's something to choose from white's point of view, but they're both absolutely playable. So black's next move, bishop to f5. Developing, absolutely key. Bishop e2, there's no point to play bishop b5 here, just explaining for everybody, because c6 hits the bishop back with tempo, so you're not going to do nothing spectacular. So h6 being played here for black, maybe preparing some g5 advancement at some point, taking the square if knight would like to venture, no longer possible, and bishop a3 being played now. Bishop a3 is a little bit of a deterrent that black probably may not want to play e6 straight away, because if bishop captures, black has to take back with the king, therefore no more castling. Although not the end of the world, so, but you know, in case you're planning on castling short, probably you want to have a second thought about playing e6 now. Again, not the end of the world. But let's proceed now, because Gukesh did not push the e-pawn. He played knight b e7. Again, developing. You can't go wrong if you develop. Castle short here for white. e6. Now the situation slightly changed, because if bishop captures on f8, not a problem for black. You don't need to take with the king. You can take back with the knight. That's exactly what happened, because now Ding Liren took on f8. Black took back with the knight. And c4 now challenging the center. As simple as that. And knight b d7 went back into position, a bit more active towards the center. Knight c3 developing, and castle here for black. Perfectly played game, and perfectly it will be played until the very end, my friends. By the way, I think according to the current rules of the World Chess Championship FIDE rules, is like you cannot draw earlier than 40 move. So you got to go to move number 40, and if you want to propose a draw, it works. So you can't draw earlier than move number 40. So everyone has to keep playing and pushing, which is, I think, I kind of like it then. b4. b4 is expanding on the queen side and probably stopping, of course. Knight c5, grabbing as much space as possible. b4, c5 being played now. Knight to d4 hits this guy, you can see, directly being attacked, and puts a little pressure on the c6 pawn. So now obviously black has to save the bishop. Could have played g6, could have played h7, that's perfectly fine. Queen to b3, more developing. Rooks, the white rooks are now connected. And knight plays on to e5. Okay, developing, going towards the center, and covering maybe a little bit pressure of on those two particular squares. d3, you never know when you want to relaunch your black knight on d3, given the fact you already got a bishop. And also, it's worth saying that the bishop on h7 also covers the b1 square. I think that's quite important. So this knight being played here serves multi-purpose, keeps an eye on the c4, d3 if necessary at some point, and all in all, the bishop is an absolute brilliant bishop there. Very active. a4, Ding Liren pushes the a after the b, taking all the space possible on the queen side. Rook 8 to c8 now. Probably there is some intention here about pushing. Hey, where did the board disappear? Oh no. Do you guys still see it? Oh yeah, it's here. For a second, the screen went blank. I don't know why. Okay, I hope it's going fine now. So rook to c, probably they want to support some c-pawn advancement. a5, taking space, and b6. So now the rook supports c6. You can't take it with the knight or anything. Again, keep an eye on the eval bar because it just shows you how all of the time, the bar stayed exactly rigid. No white, no black had a crushing advantage or even a small advantage. The guys just performed like machines. So let's continue now. Knight takes and bishop captures. Now the white bishop on f3 also, you could say, pretty much similar in efficiency with the light square black bishop. So very much happy those two bishops. Pawn going forwards, attacking the knight, and knight goes e2. And black takes on e3. Now if you wonder, could it be maybe an idea to push the pawn down? If you wonder, I mean, if you just think about this one. And I have to tell you that upon analyzing it, looks like that would be a bad idea. Because all of a sudden, if you push the pawn, if black plays d4 to d3, the bishop being blocked, you no longer attack the b1, and practically you make this bishop suffer. So you can't inflict this kind of self-limiting ideas to your own pieces. So we must be thinking very carefully. If you think you're creating some pass pawn, it's not going to work because anyway, there is a pawn here right in front of your pawn. So by pushing the pawn downwards, actually the bishop can no longer enjoy this beautiful active light square diagonal, which is h7 b1. So keep this in mind. Pushing the pawn down doesn't do nothing good for black. So obviously the super grandmaster Gukesh, that is, of course he knows it. So d, e, and d takes e3 now. He goes for a trade probably because the bishop wants to take knight takes it. You could, hope a little bit of a fork maybe if white doesn't pay attention. It might be some d2 square available for black here after some trade would happen. But rook after d1 just comes to say, yeah, well, I'm attacking your queen first. So black queen has to move. Queen to e7, of course, queen could have gone to c7, but e7 is perfectly fine because from a human point of view, it's important getting the queen away from the file where the opponent's rook attacks. Plus, you're connecting the rooks. So let's just look at the positional character of the game here. Queen moved very nicely, nice and safe, pressure on the b4, vacating the d8 square for the black rook. The rook fd can go, and what could be more equal, if I may say that? So bishop takes now, knight takes. Yeah, it is a little bit of control here, but then again, you've got a queen, you've got the rooks, nothing's going to happen. A takes b, and the same, knight now going for trades, everything. Rook goes to d, so again, they couldn't have drawn. This is move number, my friends, is move number 24. And according to the regulation, you can't draw earlier than move number 40. So they kept playing and they delivered with maximum accuracy. There is no mistake, no blunder, no error, no nothing. The game was perfectly played. Takes on c5, takes. Now you would say, yeah, but that's a pass pawn. They're not going to make progress. Look at the eval bar. There is no progress if white just plays correctly. He can't be forced anything. There is no way to pushing that guy and promote. Okay, so now black has to keep both pieces with for defending of the c5 black pawn because white attacks it twice, and there is no way to making any progress. Now white created with g3, king g2, a little bit of moving the king up the board. Yeah, you could get checked, but then it will result in a trade. I don't think that's a playable move. King moved as well. Black king moved on h7. Queen to c4, the perfect stoppage. This guy is not going to move down. Queen reposition, point goes forward. Okay, capturing, and we're going to get very close now to move 40. And I think I skipped I apologize, guys. Just let me go a couple of moves back. I think I probably skipped something. All right, so queen made the pin, and now that's forcing. Right. So queen to e4, pinning the rook to the king. And it's not a good idea to play the g6 for the simple reason that you might be creating weaknesses that white might be taking advantage for. So you don't wanna keep your king in this kind of weaknesses on the 7th rank. So queen now forces the trade. The black queen forces the trade now. You can't move, you can't take the rook because king is in check. So you could trade eventually, which it did happen. But then again, it's no way to be making big progress. It's perfectly fine here. So that will be a threefold repetition if I remember exactly. and very, very straightforward draw. Excellent game number 4, my dear friends. We're going to put a quick stop here. Join my live streams. Dive into the daily chess puzzle that I'm doing, I think, every single day, or at least I try to. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, fellas. Share it, friends and family and colleagues and stuff. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.